for example, like a lot of times I'll find myself like very curious about philosophical ideas or like the various erasers, like Occam's razor, things like that. And I like won't know the answer to that off the top of my head. And Googling it might take me a minute, 2 minutes. Like that's not a lot of time. And I'm not one of these like value maxer, like growth maxer individuals. Like that's not my MO. But I do think that like when it comes to finding those answers quickly, I can reach the place I'm looking for a little bit faster. And then in a sort of broader sense, if I'm like exploring an idea that I haven't necessarily considered. So like this internet invitational idea might not be a good example for it because that's something that I'm considering all day long, every day of my life anyway. But like, I don't know, something like psychedelics could help my golf game or something. Like I might want to understand a little bit about the biology of psychedelics. I might want to understand like how that would actually be affecting my body and my brain chemistry and how I would be, just how it would be affecting my normal experience of reality. And then I can use my own knowledge of like how golf exists within my perception of the world and whatnot to sort of marry those ideas together. And then a lot of times it's just like, stuff that I might not think has anything to do with work. I'm like staring at a stoplight. I'm wondering how a stoplight works and something I've never really thought about before. So I, ask, how does a stoplight work? How do we decide how long this red light is? And the fact that it feels like I'm sitting here for 5 minutes, like stuff like that is, I think, where I find myself most compelled to use this technology. And while, of course, it's not a cure-all to this, I do think it's like a very, very effective tool for finding those kind of small answers in a way that feels value additive to my life. I think when you look at like why Google was like great, but is now being iterated upon, it's that Google was a great way to answer your questions, but it wasn't a great way to give you more questions to ask. And I think in the AI world, it's a much easier place to ask questions. If you're a curious person, it's a really great place to be.